Two guys and a mic. Welcome to our first show of 2025. Wow. Can you believe that? It is episode actually number 24. I know the guy shaking his head can. It's our special guest, Spyder Harrison.
Hey.
Hello.
Yay.
What's happening, Spyder?
Couldn't get Kid Kelly, huh?
He tells us he's going to come on here.
Oh, he also told me I've lived here for 3.5 years. He told me he's coming up for the weekend the last 3.5 years. So good luck.
Love you, Kid Kelly. More music. Spyder Harrison is a veteran of many, many, many radio stations throughout the years. I mean, it would take forever to run him down, but I want him to give us a quick synopsis, Mark, so you understand the breadth of where this guy's been and what he's done. So go ahead, Spyder.
Well, I started when I was 16 in Miami. I did afternoons at a country station, and then I worked at a million other radio stations. I think Jacksonville, Florida, and then Kansas City, Detroit. And then I was program director in Orlando, went to New York at Z100, and then I came back to Florida to work at Y100, and then I went to Washington, D.C. from there. Yeah, Washington, D.C., and then I went to, Philly first, Philadelphia for Brian Phillips, and then, I went to Minneapolis, Brian Phillips, and Brian goes to Philly, so I left and went to Philly with him, and then when Malroy decided to go jazz, I went to Washington, D.C. to program, and then I went down to Florida, and I don't know. Oh, I worked at FLZ. That's right, in Clearwater. And I was living in Clearwater in Tampa, WFLZ, 93.3 FLZ, and then...
Was it the Power Pig when you were there?
No, it was after, like when Dom Theodore kind of made it, a little bit more mainstream, not as evil.
I also have to ask, did you have like a permanent open account with U-Haul?
No, because you're going to get the major markets, you just get three, but you got to give them three estimates and you get the moving company to come. Of course, I've had so many things broken and lost. It's amazing. I probably a year's salary of crap that the moving company's room. But what are you going to do, huh?
Now, Mark, because Mark grew up in New York too, so you would have known Spyder at Z100 as the jammer.
There you go. Because I was speaking to him before we started recording. I was mentioning to Spyder that I recognized his voice for many, many years on Sirius, of course, and I knew him as the other name that he used as well, which he is denying he was J.J. Walker. However, sounds a lot like Spyder Harrison.
That was my evil twin brother.
Yeah.
But
he's such a jerk.
I mean...
And then the sister was worse, Arlene.
Arlene, yes. She sounds like this because she smokes 5 packs of cigarettes a day. Excuse me, only 4. All right. But, she retired with JJ. They drove the car off a cliff a year and a half ago.
Well, what a great voice. I was complimenting him on it because, obviously I've been, working with guys in radio for years like you, Jim, but he's got one of the most distinguished voices. I guess at 16, you knew what your career was going to be. You have a voice like that at 16? You just
pretty much, I just didn't know. I was doing, hey, the country Q on the Brooklyn Cowboy. I was talking like this, and I had the worst Brooklyn accent back then because it was like I was 1 or 2 years removed from Brooklyn down to Miami when I started, like 15, 16 years old, and I couldn't say certain words. Like a human being from the United States. It all came out Brooklyn. So I thought, how can I use this? I call myself the Brooklyn Cowboy. So that was the excuse. I'm from Brooklyn. There you go. Forget about it. I was terrible.
Terrible.
Words cannot describe how bad I was.
Who was the one that called you for Z100? Was it Scott or was it Steve or what?
First, Shadow Stevens. Radio people listen to this podcast?
They do.
Yeah, the inside, but I'm going. People go, well, what are they talking about here? Shadow called me. He was the program director or the operations manager. He said, "Hey man, send us a tape." So I sent him a tape. I was programmed. I just started. I was leaving Detroit to go work in Orlando. I was program director, radio station down there, and I sent him a tape. And then I got to Orlando, and he called and asked for another tape, and I was so busy, trying to fix the station, move in, get my family situated. So then I'm on the air one afternoon in Orlando, and I pick it up, and it's Scott Shannon on the request line. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing, man?" It's like, "Who's this?" "Scott Shannon, goddammit." It's like, "What? Scott? Is this you?" "It's me." And he doesn't like that. It's me. It's me. So I say, "Wait, didn't we tell you to send another tape? What? You never sent it." Well, I said, I tried to explain it, but Scott, please don't do this to me. I just moved to I just closed on my house. "I'm not offering you no job. I just want to tell you, I listened to your tape and it sounds good, but you still need to learn how to speak English. Okay?" I learned how to speak English. So I said, "Okay, all right, that's all." When we so you send us another tape. So I sent him another tape. But a couple months later, when things started going south in Orlando, for various reasons or various people's reasons, they started calling again. So
that worked out then.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah.
Had to pack up and move again.
Yeah. I remember when we got the call, said we might come, work at night. And it was like, so much shite at the radio station I was working at. My buddy Travis, who became Travel Abba Ding Dog on the Z Morning Zoo, he was my go-to kid. He was 19 years old and would walk through walls for me, be my security guard. We would close the door when I said, hey, Travis, Scott said he wants me to come to New York and I need a producer. You want to go to New York? And Travis, being a good old boy, hell yeah, let's go. And we were just like, we cranked up the Beastie Boys album as loud as humanly possible, started slamming and having a party in there. Of course, until the HR lady came in and said, "You guys, this is a business, I go, "No, it's a radio station, damn it." And on we were to New Jersey.
Oh, you moved to New Jersey. Well, you guys were in Secaucus then, yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right.
All right. So now you've been at Sirius XM. That's where we crossed paths for the first time. Maybe before that, but I think
you were one of the best program directors I've ever had.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, when I was doing 70s, that was a while ago. Yeah. Well, I got there in 2000. I got there in 2001.
Do you want to know why?
Because I didn't hassle you.
Because you left me alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. You knew what you were doing. I didn't need to do anything.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's like, how long have I been doing it now? Like 50, a half a century.
Yeah.
So stop counting.
The whole thing was, Mark, it's like, okay, you put somebody in to do a job, let them do that job. If you have to be like a bumper once in a while and say, "Hey, Spyder, I need you to do this." I wasn't on the phone with him all the time saying, "You did this," or "I heard this," or "I had this." No, man, maybe try this the next time. That was good, or, but I was never hassling him.
No,
he's a pro.
Great. You always, and he was always, you never came down on me or anything like that. It's very cool. I like working for you.
We know we've both been in those air check sessions where you're getting berated by the guy sitting across from you. Sometimes you would never crack a microphone.
Scott Shannon made me cry once.
Oh, well, Scott, that's a whole different story.
But I love Scott. Don't get me wrong. No. Scott is like the world to me. He's like the godfather.
He is amazing,
So
but yeah,
how do you make a talent cry? You just say, "You stink. I don't like what you're doing." You're not just focused.
That would be too easy. Easy. Okay, here's the deal. I'm in an air check session with Scott, and I went into a stop sign, and I just kind of lost my way. I just got lost on the air, and I was like talking in circles. You know what I mean? I was just trying to get my way out of it, and then finally went into it. Scott shuts up. "What was that? Yeah. You're a DJ in New York City? Oh my God. Mary, come in here." He calls Mary and plays it again and said, that's a DJ from New York City? That's a New York DJ? My God, it's terrible, isn't it? And Mary's like, "I don't know." "Anita, get in here." He brings in Anita, and it's like, does the same thing. And then he brought in three different of his assistants to listen to my bad break. And I wanted to.
It's embarrassing. Yeah, it's embarrassing.
I guess it happens. What are you going to do, right?
But you know what? I never made that mistake again. I never got lost going. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm in the stop set. It worked. I mean, as much as I hated it at the time, or like, he would like come up to me and say, why don't you do Love Lines again? So I never did Love Lines. That was Hollywood's thing. So he said, well, maybe you can do it. I said, that's not my thing, solving people's love problems. Just, Hollywood was great at that. If you want Hollywood, get Hollywood back. Because, I replaced him. Not, because Hollywood had left the building. Right. But he's not, now calm down. I'm just making a suggestion, trying to make you a better DJ. Calm down. You don't have to do the Love Lines if you don't want. I said, all right. It's like, to the moon, Scott, to the moon. But I love it.
Oh, that's classic though. That's
I know, but it's funny because like him and Scott, they had these little mind games. Like I'd be on the air at 1:30 in the morning. I'd get a hotline call. What are you doing in my radio station, man?
I got that call before.
Yeah,
in Philadelphia, I got that call from him.
Did you?
Yeah.
So the secret was he was just like Scott was just fishing. He wasn't necessary, and usually he's probably locked out of the house by Trish, and he was sleeping in a Corvette, listening to the radio, or not even listening to the radio. He just felt like calling me. So I would always say, "Making it sound great, Scott. Making it sound great." He said, "All right, just checking." One day I was Spanky used to come on after me, Spanky McFarland, who passed away many years ago, and I always hang and talk with Spanky. He was like a radio geek and he loved to talk radio. So I'm talking to him, the hotline rings, and Scott gets on. What are you doing in my radio station? Oh, you mean the dead air? And I'm like, no. He doesn't. You mean the dead air an hour ago? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Scott knew nothing about the dead air. And I'm like, it's like, and he gets up, man, don't let it happen again. And he hangs up and he goes, Spanky, he's not listening.
That's funny.
Don't just tell me. Remember, I'm making it sound great. Got it? Okay. And then Kingston came in, and it was like, I didn't know it was Scott or Kingston. It sounded like, what are you doing in my radio station? He did a little lower. What are you doing in my radio station, man? I said, making it sound great, Steve. All right, man. So,
Did you ever hear the stories about Jack the Whack and his airplane antics?
No, I mean, him in Hollywood, had little wars going on. There was crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. And then there was the time that Human Newman went flying with Jack.
Oh, yeah. And he took him like so low you can see the expression on people's faces, right?
Yeah. And then he went up high again, and he cut the engines without Newman knowing about it, and he starts tapping on those instruments, like playing with the defibrillator. He's like, oh my God. And he goes to Newman's like, what's wrong? He goes, look under your seat, make sure your parachute's there.
Wrong person to say it. Oh, Mylan must have flipped.
Newman's looking for a parachute. There's no parachute over here. And he goes, well, I got mine over here. So he's got Newman freaking out that they're about to crash. And then he turns the engines back on.
Yeah, I did hear that. Newman told me that one. Yeah. Well, the thing with when Hollywood had like actors as cops outside,
to arrest Jack,
to arrest Jack, and they videotaped it. And apparently, it wasn't as funny as they thought it would be. It was Jack was pretty upset.
Yeah.
Hollywood goes to a party with a bunch of people at the station, including Scott, and plays it for them, the video. And they all like got real bummed out and left the party. So, I mean, obviously, I don't really want to go into the whole thing, but it wasn't pleasant.
Right.
So, but one
Jack
day,
got him back.
Hollywood's car was in the shop. Can you give me a lift home? Give me a lift, after a meeting or something. I don't remember. He drove him out to the middle of nowhere, told him to get out, closed the door and left him.
I thought he flew him he went flying with him and left him up somewhere in the Adirondacks.
Could have done that too. And just threw him out of the plane without a parachute. Yeah. No, but he every time we had a new phone up, he would run back and scream at the phone up, the defibrillator, get it, the defibrillator. And it's like, and then he'd run back, and they're like, what's the
Yeah.
Jack's just messing with him. Oh, so I'm on the air one time with Jack, speaking of messing with people. I just think I lost my audio here because I'm very animated.
No, we can hear you.
I'm Jewish and from New York, right?
Let's see if he pulled the same trick with you he did with me.
Hold on there, man. Hold on a second. Screw it. Let me turn this up here. Hold on a second. Hold on here. Gotta get the engineer.
This is a high-tech operation, as you can tell, Mark.
Yeah, it's just like ours.
Put it down.
Are you back with us?
Yeah, I got that. I was trying to be cool like you guys with the little
earbuds.
Yeah.
Did he Jack do the same thing to you he did to me?
The
pretend sneeze?
Yes.
Yes, I got that too.
I almost killed him. I'm on the air, and he's behind me, and I'm talking on the air, and all of a sudden I hear, Achoo! And I feel wet all over the back of my head and my neck, and
gross.
I finish my break, I turn around, and I grab him by the neck, and I throw him against the back wall, and he's like, and he's holding up a spray bottle of water. I said, oh, you son of a... Yeah, it's like, all right, very funny. Don't do that again.
He did that to me. He came out to, when he was looking to leave Z100, he asked if I was doing mornings in Northwest Jersey at the time. And he said, hey, do you think your bosses would mind if I did the show with you for a couple of weeks? So we make an air check. And they were totally cool with it. And he came out and we did the show together for a couple of weeks. And he pulled that sneeze thing on me too. While I was on the air, I was like, oh my God.
No, I'm
I didn't try to throw him against the wall though, but
my Brooklyn came out.
Yeah. There you go.
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Forget about it.
So tell everybody what you're doing now. You're not on 70s anymore, but you're on 90s. You're still doing Hits One.
Yeah, I do Hits One, the Weekend Countdown.
Yep.
I do the Fat Nine on 90s on 9, which is a theme countdown on Monday night. So
yep.
We do whatever cover songs or songs 90 songs from 70 songs or Spyder's faves, which is when we run out of topics, I just play what I want. That's my favorite subject. And then I work Monday through Friday, noon to 6 Eastern time on the 10 spot, which is on Channel 11, of course.
Right.
Just like.
And who's on the 10 spot with you now, besides you?
Mac Mac does the morning show.
Okay.
And he is also on middays, my old shift on Hits One, because they're doing it in the South Beach studios, and he has a partner named Jen. And look at all those gold records behind Mark. Wow, I am truly impressed.
I don't have.
You have one or two though. I don't have any. I was program director and promised him when I was music director in Jacksonville. I really picked some mega hits that you would be so impressed with, like "Ain't Gonna Bump No More with No Big Fat Woman" by Joe Tex, which was a big song actually.
Sure, classic.
But of course, I said, I'm going to get a gold record for that. My boss Chuck Martin at the time said, "Let me explain something to you. When you're the program director, you'll get the gold records." When I get this one, so then it was like "Rich Girl" was another one I was real early on, because a lot of stations didn't want to play it because of the "Rich Girl, Bitch Girl," So I said we got to play this song, so we played it and we got a gold record. And of course, Chuck got it. That was the last shot. After that, when I was program director, I wasn't looking for gold records. You know what I mean? I was looking to get ratings and keep my job. I could give a crap about gold records at that point because it's more about survival sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, you just want when my first when I first started on radio, my whole goal in life was to be on the radio full time and make, I don't know, $150 a week and have my own apartment. And that was it. That was my big goal.
That was your goal. That was it.
Yeah. I just wanted to be on the radio.
Right.
So how did you start? I mean, obviously you had the voice, the talent. I mean,
so
how do you do it?
I graduated high school about 2-3 months after I turned 16 because I skipped a grade in New York, the SP. Remember SP?
Sure.
Junior high, you do 3 years and 2. And then when I got to Beach High, Miami Beach Senior High School, they had this program where you can go year round and you can double up. And I had a lot of credits. So I graduated, like at 16. So I went to community college. First day in community college, I'm taking radio courses and I see the production room in the back. So I asked one of the older guys, listen, can you show me how this works? So he shows me and I go, okay, thank you. I run a Radio Shack, get a reel, bring some records, and boom, first week I'm recording. I don't need a class. I was in the lab for hours. So I take I hear a really crappy country station all of a sudden on FM 92.5 at the time, WQXK. And I thought, man, I could work there. That guy sucks. So I take it turns out the program director is also the morning guy. So it's out in a warehouse in Hialeah in the middle of nowhere. And I open the door and there's no secretary or anything in the lobby. Sit down and I wait for the guy named Hal Smith to get off the air. And I say, hey, I'm Dick Shotland, was my real name. And I would like to work here. So he says, come on in. Let's listen to your tape, which was terrible. And he listens. He goes, okay, well, you got to work on this. You got to work on that. Work on that. I said, all right, thank you. And so I drive immediately back to the college and record another show. The next morning, I'm sitting on the couch when he gets off the air at 10 o'clock.
You're back.
Oh, you're back. Yeah, I worked on everything you told me to. So
in one day.
Yeah. So he takes me in and go, okay, better. You need to work on this and work on that and work on this and work on that. So, gotcha. Drive back to the school, make another tape. Next morning, I am sitting on the couch at 10 o'clock waiting for him to get off the air. He says, you're back. Okay, come on in. He said, oh, much better. He didn't give me any criticism. He says, oh, this, much, much better. We'll call you. So I said, all right. And a couple of days later, he called me. He said, hey, you want to do weekends here? It's like $2 an hour? No problem. So that's
there.
Yeah. And that was also I also ended up being the music director for free. And then the afternoon guy left to go back to law school at University of Florida because he was smart. And I got his job and it sounded terrible every afternoon. Yeah, that's how it started.
And where'd you go from that station? Did you stay in Miami for another one?
Yeah,
or leave?
I kind of farted around when that station went to WSMQ FMA. I actually worked at WSMQ AM, a Cuban music station. And I would run the religious shows on the weekend. And I just wanted to be DJ. So, and I loved, they had reverb. It was the AM. And I got to do the ID every hour. WCMQ Miami. So I would be Mr. DJ when I thought the Spanish religious show was over. I'd whip it down and do the ID and then hit the next one. But then in Q, I would hear that show continue on. And it's like, oops, oh well, nobody will know. So a couple of weeks later, young minister comes up and he says, here's my tape for why do you cut my show off every week? It's like, I don't know. I thought you were saying goodbye. He just goes, "Ay," and walks away. Because I didn't speak Spanish, in case you were wondering. But yeah,
that's great.
I also worked as Dick Shotland, WK18 News, which was a talk station with Lynn Russell, who was an anchor person on CNN for years. And I worked, on the weekends and just about all midnight to 6, and would fall asleep listening to Gene Shepard. You know who that guy is? The guy that tells the stories, like on Christmas, the movie. That guy. So he had it was like a podcast, and it was like him telling stories about his childhood. And I would do the news in between, and I'm like listening to him. So I would set we had timers, like egg timers, to when the news feeds from the course. It would wake me up. So I guess one day it didn't wake me up. And it's like, I hear the ring go, ring, 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 ring. It's like, what is going on there? This is like 3:30 in the morning. What are you talking about? Are you sleeping? What's going on? I'm listening. Then it's going, it sounds backwards. What happened was they recorded Gene Shepard on a tape, but there was something else on the other side. So after the show, and there was like, for like 20 minutes. And this old Jewish man, God bless him, in South Beach, almost had a heart attack.
I'm still thinking about the Spanish guy saying, "Why you got my phone?"
So
that's a good one.
I said, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to check with the operator. I'll get back to you. So holy crap.
Oh man, good stories about radio, huh?
Alex, and you know who I sound like? I said, you remember Ted Knight on the Mary Tyler Moore Show?
Sure.
He was Ted. WKAT News. I'm Dick Shotland. Governor Ruben Askew said today. And I was like, what the heck? That was. I was just doing. I'm 16 years old or 17. I'm doing my perception of what I thought news guys sounded like.
Right.
But it was fun.
Was Jacksonville your next stop?
Yeah, I worked at a couple places in Miami. I worked WMIQ in Miami, which became 96X. That was my first top 40 station in 1975. And as Spyder Harrison. And
did you choose that name or someone give it to you?
I got it off Okay, so when I went to WMIQ, a guy named Lee Logan, my program director, good guy, he said, your name is going to be Harrison. I said, Harrison. Okay, Harrison. Back in the 70s, that's cool to have one name, like Buzz or Harrison. So I'm like, I didn't like that. So I'm driving in for my first airship, and I'm behind a car, and it says, it's a Spyder, Spyder, on the back of the car. So Spyder Harrison. That's cool. I'm going to do that. So I get on the air, and I call myself Spyder Harrison. I get hotline. He said, I thought I told you to call yourself Harrison. I said, well, yeah, I know, but this would be cool. He goes, no, you're right. It's cool. I like it. Okay. I was just wondering. I said, okay.
Why did Scott change your name in New York?
Oh, so I was JJ Walker, and Scott says, I go, so hey, I'm going to change your name. I said, what's your name? Jammer. I said, Jammer. Okay, so wait, what's my first name? Jammer. No, I said, I don't like one word names, He goes, oh, no, it's a two, I said, Jammer is the last name. I said, well, what's my first name? So I just, Scott, you don't argue with him,
Yeah.
Okay. The Jammer. Okay.
Yeah, but it was great when you would come on and say, I am your brother Jan and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny what people remember, because it didn't dawn on me that it was any kind of thing. I just said it for fun. And people catch on to like a certain thing that you do, and you don't know why. Why is that so noticeable as opposed to something else, right?
Right.
But, when you have a keeper, you keep it. It's like, years ago I said Spyder with a Y because I don't want people, to go to Spyder, not find me on the internet. So,
right.
And they told me, well, don't use Spyder with a Y so much. It's just, why don't you not do it? Then it turns out everybody, how many years ago? Jimmy Fallon was talking about his song he made with Will.i.am called Ew. And he on the air, he's saying, hey, listen, call your local DJs, call Shadow Stevens, Shadow Steel, or whatever. Call Spyder Harrison, and it's like Spyder with a Y. And then I'm watching New Year's Eve with remember when Anderson Cooper did it with Kathy
Kathy Griffin.
Yeah. So he says American Authors is coming up, and I didn't see this. I just turned it off, and all of a sudden my people on the internet are like messaging me. And it's like, what's going on? Anderson Cooper just name checked you. I said, really? So somebody sent me a tape. It was Anderson saying, American Authors are coming up. And Kathy goes, you don't even know who they are. I said, do you? He goes, yeah, I know who it is. Spyder Harrison play it. The Spyder with a Y play it. It's like, yes, on Hits 1. So,
wow.
So, nice. Yes, then I've heard it. So it was like, maybe I got something here. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what people, if that's what people remember, do what people remember. So that's,
for sure.
Yeah.
So
nobody ever bothered me about it again,
I was going to ask.
Oh, sorry. Let me just do this real quick. It's two guys and a mic. Mark and Jim, we're here with Spyder Harrison, longtime radio. He's been just about every market across the country, every major market. We work together at SiriusXM. Please like and subscribe on this YouTube channel. The more subscribers, the better, and it doesn't cost you a dime to do that.
I'm confused. Two men, two.
Two guys and a mic.
It's two guys and two mics.
Well, now we have three guys and three mics, so we may have to change it. See? So all our guests have mics.
Well,
we wanted people to think that every single time they tune into the show, wait a minute, there's two microphones there. What are they talking about?
It gives them something to talk about.
Yeah, sort of like Spyder with a Y. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But what I was going to ask you was all the years of doing, I'm sure, interviews and stuff, and we always like to ask, because people ask us, who are like your best interviews and perhaps your worst interviews? Because people ask me the best artists I worked with, the worst artists I worked with, and all that stuff.
The nicest person I ever spoke to a couple times was Niall Horan from One Direction.
Wow.
Niall's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a very nice, down-to-earth guy. And Taylor, I've talked to her on the phone, back in the old days quite a bit. And then, it's funny, I took my ex backstage to meet her. And I walk up to her, I said, Taylor, I'm Spyder Harrison. She goes, I know who you are. First of all, I don't believe that, but that was very nice because it made me look good, right? But Charlie Daniels, another really nice person that I interviewed over the years. Harry Chapin was wonderful, but then shortly after I interviewed him, he died. So it was very sad. Harry hung out. He was a radio. He was a big fan of radio. He loved radio. And after the interview, he hung out in the control room. I think it was in Jacksonville. And he hung out in the studio with me talking radio, about New York radio, for about like an hour. So he was pretty cool. I just like people pretty laid back. The funny thing is, like when I was younger, I did an interview with Kenny Loggins. And he was younger too, in fairness. This is like 1977. And I thought, wow, he's kind of mean to me. It's like, because I wasn't like skillful at interviews, but I was nice, and but he was like, seemed annoyed that he had to do the interview and stuff like that. But when I look back and you think, for years, I thought, man, what a jerk. But it's like, everybody grows up. It's like I'm sure Kenny's a nice person. I mean, he seems nice. I don't know. And maybe whatever was bothering him, he took it out on the stupid kid, a 20-year-old radio DJ. And so that's the thing about judging people. It's like one impression. And that's the thing about when you go on appearances and stuff like that. One impression can, ruin it for one person, and that person will tell everybody what an asshole you are, Yep. And that's happened with me, because I remember in Tampa, a gal I met at a funeral, fellow DJ in town, was talking to me. She said, I think you were a real jerk. I said, why? Well, we came in at 1:30 one morning, and with a couple of your promotion guys, and you kind of like, you didn't want to, you said hello, and then you asked us to leave the control room. It's like, and you weren't very nice about it. I said, well, I was on the air. It's like when I'm on the air, sometimes I'm not nice. If I'm going, salespeople or people are coming in to do a tour, it's not my job, like, I'm not a dance monkey. You know what I mean? I'm not there to amuse them. I'm there to amuse people listening to me on the radio. So I go, hey, okay, very nice. I got you guys are talking back. Can you, just go out in the hallway? Something like that. Or, when I have guests, like when I have high school kids on the air on Friday nights, we do like feature a high school, like in Miami or Philadelphia. Somebody was in my line of sight, like somebody's mom. I would just go, like a point, and all of a sudden they'd be out. I'd look and they're gone, like Tony Mojo, my Anthony Monte Carlo, my producer. He would, take by the arm and kind of yank out of the way. So, because very ADD, I have lots of issues with ADHD, and that's one of them. Trying to concentrate. You got 15-second intro on a song, and somebody's going to blow your shit right in your line of sight. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So you eliminate that, and I didn't know I was ADD till as an adult. My ex one day said, "I know why you sit here in your studio in the dark, and why all your pictures are along the ceiling." I said, "Why?" "Because you're ADD." And I thought about it. I went to a psychiatrist. He said, "Yeah, I knew you were ADD the second you walked in the door." But, and I take medication and whatever you need to do. But it is what it is. But, it's like there's things being ADHD that you do that can annoy people or screw up your life. But if you're, and when over the years, the way I got around it, I called it hyper focusing. So I would I would just have tunnel vision. I would just hyper focus. That's one thing that ADD people can do is, if you like something or you care about something very much, you can hyper focus. And all of a sudden it's completely opposite of, the condition. So in Orlando, my general manager see me come in the door at 8:00, and he'd go run into my office to tell me what the morning show did or what so and so did, and I would I come in the morning with my agenda and what I'm gonna do, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to get down and write my list and check things off, and do what I got to do. He'd come in and start, and so finally I said, "Listen, Jim, you can't do this. You're blowing my shit right in the beginning of the day. I have tunnel vision. I have to look straight ahead. You making me go side to side, and I just, my day is ruined. Every day you do this." "Oh, okay. All right. I won't do it no more." It's good. Thank you. But what I was dealing with was a condition that I didn't know I had. So it's pretty interesting. But it's you also, ADD people tend to be more creative, are good at problem solving, are good under pressure. So, it's good and bad with everything. So I own it. I like it.
Did you guys see the news, switching gears completely here, a little pop culture? Sabrina Carpenter, it's got Grammy nominations, but this, including Best New Artist, even though this is going to be album number 6.
And she started 10 years ago.
Right. But she's up for Best New Artist, which I think is a curse award anyway. Hopefully she doesn't win that, because usually the people that win that don't have careers that go forever.
Well, it doesn't make any sense because she's had a career already. So, you know what I mean? It's it's too late. It's not like she just showed up out of the blue. It's like Milli Vanilli. But
hey, they're up on the wall over there.
Really?
There you go. That's worth some money, huh?
Yeah.
We didn't know nothing. We knew nothing about nothing. Just put it like that.
Mark was there the day that Mark was working there the day that happened.
It was crazy. It was wow. And I think that's way before the internet and any of that stuff. And it was just insane. I mean, from what we knew, at least on my level, you knew as much as anybody else knew. But I think when they first started to tour, and the whole story about, the rehearsal and the sound check and the tape breaking, and then the word spread from there and it got crazy. But something else. Nowadays, nobody would even think about that, because half the people that are performing aren't singing live anyway, and they're dancing and gyrating and God knows what. And if they are singing, it's been helped by how much computer, this and that. But it was quite a day, and it was a whole story. And
you know how much debate there was at the station I was at? I'm trying to remember the year that happened. Was that 89, 90?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That's right. Sold records. Think of all the records, the vinyl back in the day, the stuff that sold out there. We had hit after hit after hit. Everything went right.
Well, somebody was doing something right if it wasn't them. You know what I mean?
We had serious conversations about pulling those records off the air.
Yeah. I remember. I think there was a whole way to get your money back. They were refunding stuff, but a lot of people... Yep. I think they held on to the records.
It was still fun music, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun for the time anyway, but
I think it shocked a lot of people that, that was going. Maybe you had people speculated that some, TV shows and stuff like Dick Clark and all that, maybe American Bandstand, that was lip synced, but I think for them to actually get caught and have the video of it, it was just, I think it was a big deal.
Speaking of good guys, Dick Clark.
Yeah, never met the man.
Nice man. met him a couple times. Back one of them with Scott Shannon, we did something at the King's Plaza in Brooklyn, and was backstage talking to him and his wife, and he was such a nice man. Then I was backstage with him in Jacksonville. It was after a baseball game or a soccer game, and it was Bo Diddley was playing, and he introduced him, and talking backstage with him again, and he's just like the kindest man, and so interested, always asking questions. So it reminded me of like John Lander. You worked with John, right?
I know John. Yeah, I worked with him in
John is
Boston.
such a sweet guy, and he's so talented. One of the best morning guys in radio history.
Yeah.
And one of his secrets was his charm on and off the air. So I would like go to a station appearance, and John was there. People come up with him, and he would shake their hands with two hands and say, "What's your name, Edward? And what's your last name? Levine." Say, I know some people named Levine, and it's like, what do you do for a living? And how long have you lived here? And he would spend 15 minutes talking to anybody, making them feel important. And I just would sit there as a younger guy and think, taking notes. And it's like, right, make people feel special, make people important. And John was great at that. John was so
I went after the job I was doing in Philly. The one gig fell apart, and I went up to Boston to do a fill-in at WBMX when he was doing mornings up there. So I was going to do afternoons for a couple of weeks, and he made it a point, because he was the morning guy, right? So he was usually gone by the time I got there. But the second day I was there, he made it a point to hang around, and he came into the studio, started talking to me and asking me all about my career, and hey, it's good to meet you, and blah, blah, blah. He was a great guy, John.
Yes, he was. It's like Brian Phillips was our program director in Philadelphia, and Brian used to call him Mary, because Lander told me when he was in the service in the Army, his sergeant always called him Mary. That's a cut. Come on, Mary. Get up there. It's like so. So I always remember John Lander is Mary. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. Dick Clark, I had the opportunity to take an artist to one of his. He had a great office in LA. It was all these recording studios, and I think you could record like 1 million of the shows. And I had taken Gary Barlow there, who was the lead singer of Take That, when we were trying to break, obviously, Gary Barlow here from a separate career from Take That. And we took him to Dick Clark. And while Gary was doing all the interviews, I had the opportunity to stay in Dick's office and talk to him. And I had never seen an office that was filled with the memorabilia. It was better than going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, he had something from Elvis, something from Michael Jackson, something from Madonna. It was like, this guy goes to the bathroom, I'm cleaning up.
He was the kingmaker for so many years.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I watched every week. I love that show.
I mean,
my sister-in-law danced on that show.
Really?
When it was being filmed in Philadelphia. Oh, I'm sorry?
Was she like a regular?
No. She did. I don't know if it was one episode or a couple. When they were filming in Philadelphia still. This is before it went, out to Hollywood.
Right.
This is when it, originally started.
That in Soul Town were two of my Saturday staples, and Bowery Boys, and the Elvis movie in the afternoon.
Bowery Boys. Speaking of LA, I mean, how devastating what's going on out there right now.
Yeah, it's I was thinking about it because I have so many friends and relatives there, and my nephew lives up in Woodland Hills, and he had the fire close a couple of years ago, and he was packed Tuesday night. But so far so good on that. I also reached out to Magic Matt Allen. He works on 7. He's on 7. I work with him at Z100.
How's he doing?
He says he's fine. He's okay. But the reason I thought about him because I was watching one of the news coverage with local Los Angeles coverage, and they were talking about the Magic Castle.
Right. It was close there. Right.
Yeah. They were worried about
and the
that
Hollywood
thing.
Bowl as well.
So, Matt's worked at the Magic Castle over the years. I mean, Matt really is a magician. You know that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
I knew that, and I know it was also close to the Getty Museum, and it was getting close to jumping or getting close to the Hollywood freeway. And if it jumped over that, it would have been even worse.
It's like a tornado or a hurricane that just won't go away.
Well, yeah, and I mean, at least I said this to Mark earlier this week. When we get notice of a hurricane coming, you got 3, 4, 5, sometimes a week. This thing
10 minutes
sprung up, and next thing you know, an hour later, you got 10 minutes to get your stuff and get the hell out. Otherwise, it's an inferno.
I've been, living in Florida so many years. I've been through a couple of hurricanes. So, moved into our house in Parkland in like 2018, 2019. And like the first day there, like the guys were out in the street. That's how I met all my neighbors. They were out saying, "What are you going to do during the hurricane? The hurricane's coming." I think it was, I don't know, 2000. Yeah, I don't remember. But so, but I had hurricane shutters. I had an all-house generator. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it came and went. I was out in the backyard cooking steaks in the eye of the storm because I wasn't facing the wind because of the way the house was shaped.
Right.
And I was watching trees fall right in front of my very eyes. Like, oops, there it goes. But, so we had time to think about it, to make a plan. Right. A lot of people decided to get the hell out of Dodge, whatever. Whereas this thing, it's like, man, it's like immediate. The fire's coming, right now.
Right. And it's moving so fast. And then people abandoned their cars. They actually use bulldozers to push the cars out of the way.
Because people abandoned the cars. They were stuck in traffic and gridlock. And the roads are so small.
Where do you live, Mark?
I live about 2 hours away from Jim. I live up in Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch. And Jim is a little south of me down in Fort Myers, Naples.
Bonita Springs.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Estero, so I'm pretty familiar.
They're on the opposite coast of you.
No, he's now. Spyder's up in South Carolina now.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was still in Florida.
I'm in Spartanburg, South Carolina, upstate South Carolina. I love it here. That's why I'm all wrapped up, because it's like 40 degrees right now.
Well, it was 40 here this morning, Spy.
Really?
Yeah, it was chilly this morning.
Yeah, I know, in Florida. Oh, I got to get my fur coat. It's 50 degrees out.
It's 53. Now. People are freezing. How'd you end up down there? How'd you end up in South Carolina?
Well, I finally, I was down there. I met my wife 8 years ago, my first and only online date. And we just hit it off really well and stuff. It turns out we both went to Beach High. I went to school with her brother. So I started dating her, and I was in Atlanta, staying at Sean Caldwell's house for my birthday with all my buddies, and calling her every day. So I said, "Listen, I got to go. I got to call my daughter and wish her a happy birthday." She goes, "Ha ha! How did you know it was my daughter's birthday?" She says, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Turns out our daughters were born same day, same year."
Wow.
We went to Beach High, and we were born in the same hospital in Queens, New York, St. Joseph's. And so wow. And we both had the same toaster, so we knew it was destiny. It was like, that's just too much. But so anyway, so we bought the house in Parkland. We loved that, nice town. But the problem where we lived was like everybody was young and, very young with kids, and we'd been there, done that. And so it's like couldn't call on a Thursday night and say, "Let's go to Duffy's and watch the game," because I have to take Christian to practice and yada yada yada. So we were thinking it's too freaking hot down here. The traffic is unbearable. People are just not nice. I remember my condo in Aventura. My parking garage. I would say hello to people in the parking garage. They just walk right by me like I didn't exist. It's like, or somebody give you the finger on Biscayne Boulevard. You don't even know why. But so I thought, when I retired, maybe we'll go to Charleston, because our brother lived there for the last 30 years. We loved Charleston. And, it was during COVID, sitting around COVID, and, that the real estate boom, everybody was moving to Florida, right, for like a minute,
sure.
Right? And so I saw an open house in the next subdivision, and there were a 2-mile line of cars to get in for one open house. I said, "You know what? Instead of waiting, we went to on my vacation. We went to South Carolina. We looked at Bluffton. We looked at Hilton Head. We looked at Beaufort. We looked at Somerville, Charleston, and Greenville. And of all of them, we loved Greenville. Greenville is just beautiful downtown and just a friendly, nice city.
And you get a little more change of seasons than you do in the low country.
Yeah. So we weren't going to leave, but when we saw that lineup, we called a real estate person and said, "Listen, maybe we should jump on it. It's hot." So we made like $250,000, like in 4 years. It's like, where can you make an investment like that, right?
Right.
So we sold the house, and it's like, holy crap, we don't have a place to live. Margie,
That's
you get up there to Greenville and start looking. So, she's looking around and looking around. Finally the real estate gal who is now a friend of ours said, why don't you consider Spartanburg? You get more for your money, and it's, small, no traffic, and it's very nice. So
it's close to Greenville.
Yeah, and so we moved to this Carolina Country Club, which is really beautiful. It's like we live like 2.1 miles from the gate, up there. It's just a beautiful drive. But like the first time, I didn't see the house physically until I came for the closing. My wife bought the house. She calls me, says, I got a beautiful house. There's only one problem. It's 4,800 square feet, and we're living in 2,700 square feet.
Wow.
And that's enough. And everybody's saying, in Florida, why you should be down, whatever.
Right.
So I said, what? She said, yeah, but listen, it has a walkout. Oh, this is like my camera. She says, it has a walkout basement, 600 square feet, full bath and kitchen down there. And it could be your office and studio. I said, sold. The reason we went is like the only house available. It was just a beautiful neighborhood, with woods and stuff. Although we lost hundreds of trees during the hurricane a couple of weeks ago, but she was right, and it was beautiful, and we love it here because people are so nice.
Yeah,
it's like people are so nice. Like in an elevator, people won't talk to you like up north or in Florida sometimes, and man, hey, so this is the slowest elevator. And I go, yep, you're right. Or like, it's weird. I think the South gets a knock on, racism and maybe relations, but I see here, like in Publix, you'll see an old white lady and an old black lady just chatting away, like, because they probably grew up with each other and went to school with each other and they know each other. And it's just, you never see that in Miami or New York. You would never see that. Everybody just stays to themselves. And like here it's a community. And I like that. Even if people do have in the back of their mind, racist tendencies or whatever, because nobody is perfect. Everybody has their prejudices. People respect each other and act nice to each other.
That's nice.
That's good.
It is so nice. It's like we went to IHOP, and IHOP in Hollywood, Florida, the lady comes shuffling by and plops the, did you hear that? Plops the menus down and walks away and then doesn't come back and gets the order all wrong because he wasn't listening and then doesn't come back to give me the bill. I go to IHOP in Greenville and how y'all doing this morning? What would you like? Okay, honey, you got it. And anything else? And they keep coming up to the table. What can I get? Anything? It's like me and my wife are like, where are we?
But I think nice. I think that also might be the part of Florida you were living in because exactly. I kind of experienced.
I've lived in every major city of Florida, and it's changing. Fort Myers is changing. That traffic is a bear.
Oh, it has gotten worse.
Our friend moved into a new subdivision. She told me that one of the neighbors hung another neighbor's dog because the dog kept coming. On. Yeah.
Really?
Like, what?
Wow.
Everybody in South Carolina would come after him because everybody loves dogs here.
Yeah.
But it's like, she, my friend Andrea, my wife's longtime friend, she made a mistake and bought a house in Fort Myers after her husband died. She realized she doesn't want to be there because she was hanging with us and living with us. And, she had like every friend in the world and people gave her gifts when she left after 2 months of living here at our house. All my neighbors had a going away party. It's like, it's a different world. I mean, yes, you will find nice people and you'll find lots of nice retired people from Ohio who will wave at you in Fort Myers and stuff like that. But it's genuinely a common thing here, not just, a group of people or,
Right. I see what you're saying.
And also it's, like in Spartanburg, there's no freaking traffic whatsoever. I cannot hit a stop and like from here to like a store. It might take me 15, 20 minutes to get to Publix, but I maybe hit 2 stop signs, or 2 red lights or whatever. But
a little over an hour your way, you got a major city with Charlotte not that far from you. So.
And that's the thing. People say, well, there's nothing there. Yeah, shopping sucks here. The mall here sucks. And I mean, but Costco's open, so I'm cool. My wife, when she came here, there was like a room next to our bedroom that was like like for an office. She made it into a Barbie dream closet with custom cabinets and things like that. She knows the Aventura Mall, which is I think the second largest mall in North America, down in South Florida, like the back of her hand. She could tell you where anything was, where the best parking spots were. And here, she doesn't have that. But, she, just like I, loves the weather, loves to change the season. And it's not too extreme. It's not like when I lived in Minneapolis and it didn't get above zero for a month.
Do you get snow where you are or not?
3 years ago on our birthday, we got 6 inches of snow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that was it. Now we're supposed to get snow like on Friday and Saturday, to be honest with you. We're hoping that we get snow. But
it's two guys and a mic. Our special guest has been Spyder Harrison today. Can't thank you enough for being on here, my friend.
Oh, you had fun. It's fun.
And please like and subscribe.
Spyder with a Y. Spyder with a Y.
Yeah, Spyder with a Y. So when we send you the promo and we ask you to get out there and share it on social media so everybody starts checking and looking at your episode, all right?
We'll do our first guest for the new year. Following big
first I don't want anybody to see this. Really. It's funny because, it's easy to talk about yourself, but then when you hear yourself talking about yourself, it's like, oh, man. I've heard this story before. I don't want to hear it again. It was like, when I was on Howard Stern, they play it again. It's like, oh, man, don't play that again.
That's right. You did Stern. I remember that.
Yeah, and there's things on there,
yeah. Oh, well. It's all good, man. Anderson Cooper name-checked you.
That's right.
That's right.
And it's like, the best thing is that I still get to do what I love to do.
That's it.
I mean, it's, different than it was when we first started. It was just crazy. It was a blast. And I lived and breathed radio 24 hours a day. But I still love it. And it's fun. And I enjoy it. And got a good boss, Alex Terr. And
don't get to do it as much as I want to yet. But yeah,
and you should. What you mean. But I hear that you're playing a lot of golf.
I get in my fair share of golf. Yeah, I do. But I need to get back.
You're this close to get your PGA card, right?
Yeah, maybe a little further away.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Spyder. Spyder with a Y. It's two guys and a mic. We'll see you next week.